are some, including Democratic Alderman Raymond Lopez from Chicago, who argue the Trump administration is specifically targeting individuals who have been convicted of crimes and have been in the country illegally. In fact, take a listen to what he had to say.
They are stoking fear against the federal government because they want people to be afraid.
In this video, we have Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks discussing mass deportations. Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur talk about how the majority of Americans are in favor of the deportations and rip on leftist streamers that are critical of them for their reporting on the topic. With that, let's watch Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur crush their mentally challenged leftist brethren for their brain-dead takes.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. How many people are getting attacked? The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
There you have an emotional Selena Gomez over Donald Trump's immigration policies, especially as we're hearing more and more about the individuals who are being deported by ICE under Donald Trump. But there are some, including Democratic Alderman Raymond Lopez from Chicago, who argue the Trump administration is specifically targeting individuals who have been convicted of crimes and have been in the country illegally. In fact, take a listen to what he had to say.
They are stoking fear against the federal government because they want people to be afraid. They want people to be panicked, and they want to show desolate neighborhoods. When all Tom Homan has said is that he wants to focus on dangerous criminals so that they can come in and leave communities as quickly as possible. And it's truly a disservice to our residents to see the mayor and his allies whip people into hysteria simply for their own political benefit.
Now, again, that was a Democratic alderman in Chicago. His name is Raymond Lopez, and he's arguing, look, there's a lot of fear mongering going on and it's wrong. But is it true that Trump's administration is specifically targeting individuals who have committed other crimes in the country? Well, let's hear a little more from the alderman, and we'll get into more details about who's being deported.
Selena Gomez, first of all, relax. Second of all, they're going after your people? Well, Selena, they're going after murderers and rapists, specifically violent criminals. Are those your people? Oh, wait a second. You're in Hollywood. Of course those are your people. I apologize. They are going after your people. So now I understand the tears. But can I just say, isn't Tom Homan just a monster? Can you believe that he has the nerve to go into cities and deport murderers, violent criminals, rapists, and sexual predators? Where does he get off? That alderman is completely right. Anybody talking about this as a bad thing is disingenuous and maybe as big a fearmonger as I've ever seen. We're booting violent criminals out of the country, and there are people that disagree with. And I don't want to hear your excuse that, well, there were some people that were like just hanging out with these criminals and they got booted too. Bye. I don't care. God forbid crime goes down in this country. I know that would be terrible for the Democrats because, of course, they don't want Donald Trump to improve anything in this country because they don't care about the people. They care about power and anything they can do to accumulate more power. Anyone criticizing this is a joke. Let's get back to the video.
I'm very thankful that Immigration and Customs Enforcement is being very transparent in who they are arresting, what the crimes that they were committing or accused of committing were, because I think it's important for people to see that they're not going into churches, schools, and hospitals to round up children or your grandparents, that they're actually going after very dangerous individuals. And I think that it's very difficult when you have the local fear-mongering machine in full effect, as we saw last week when Secret Service individuals went to a school and the Chicago Public Schools apparatus was quick to blame ISIS trying to raid the building. You know, you need to be transparent and you need to be clear about what's going on.
So he highlighted that story that broke last Friday where the school officials in an elementary school in Chicago claimed that ICE had showed up they were planning on deporting someone. Turns out that it was actually Secret Service that showed up to the school in order to investigate someone who had made a specific threat to a specific government official. They never entered the school, and in fact, they spoke to and identified themselves to the principal, who later did a press conference and made it seem like I showed up to do a raid. That was not the case. And that does instill fear in people, especially in Chicago. So it's important to be accurate about what's really going on. But Selena Gomez has since taken that video down after posting it on social media. I don't know if it's because she realized that she was wrong or if she was getting so much backlash that she just wanted to take herself out of the conversation. But I've got more details on who's being deported in just a moment. Cenk, I want to get your thoughts first.
Yeah, so two things on this. One is the policy and the substance, and the other is the politics and the strategy, right? So on the substance here, these are not raids. Those will probably come later, but that's not what this is. So they're going to pick up specific undocumented immigrants who were convicted felons. Now, that doesn't mean that they only got convicted felons, so
See, Cenk's still going to hold water. You see what he's just about to go into. They didn't just get convicted felons. They got other people as collateral damage. I haven't seen this. I'm assuming he says something similar. But he's still holding water for the Democrats. Why? But he's fear-mongering too. No, ICE is not doing raids. But they're probably gonna soon. First of all, let me say, if they do raids, I fully support it if it's getting illegal immigrants out of our country. Just come in the right way, we're good. And I welcome with open arms any immigrant that comes to this country the right way and is able to enjoy the freedom and opportunity that I'm able to enjoy here and everyone else is. So let's make that clear. But if they do raids to get illegal immigrants out of there, I don't care. But Cenk doesn't know what the plan is after they round up all the illegal immigrant felons and have that under control. So, Cenk, you can whine about it, but whine about it when you have some clue what you're talking about, because right now you don't. How about the Secret Service goes to a school to investigate a threat made against a government official? Don't ever go in the school. They speak to the principal and explain why they're there, and the principal still comes out and does a press conference. What an effing loser. That person is teaching your children there in Chicago. Good luck with that. Let's get back to the video.
My issue here is that they're picking up people that they're calling collaterals that are also undocumented immigrants but did not commit a crime. I'm never in favor of collateral damage, so I don't think that's the right way to go. But they're not going to listen to me, and they won the election, so they're going to keep on doing this. So in terms of when to start crying like Selena Gomez, save it for the mass deportations when we have to rally the whole American people to our side to prevent it. But when you do it, when they're picking up convicted felons, you're gonna lose the American people. So don't do that. As Anna's about to tell you, we're already losing them. I don't wanna lose them anymore before we get to the actual problem.
No, we lost them. I wanna be very clear that when I was talking about Venezuelan gang members, that was specifically meant to make a point about how the Democratic Party, which was in charge at the time, needed to do something about that. Otherwise, Americans are gonna be ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's exactly what's happening here. So in 2016, public opinion polls showed that only 36% of Americans favored mass deportation, only 36%. Fast forward to today, let's look at the numbers. Well, New York Times came out with a poll, 56% of Americans in favor of mass deportations. Oh, well, that must be an outlier, right? Outlier poll, how could the number increase so much? Marquette, 64% of Americans in their poll indicated that they favor mass deportation. CBS News, 57%, ABC News, 56%. We have lost them already because when you're unwilling to make a distinction between people who are here illegally, who are committing crimes, who are running amok, with those who might be in the country illegally, but they've been here for a while, they're productive members of society and they're not hurting anyone, well, all of a sudden you're gonna have the majority of Americans think, well, Democrats aren't serious about keeping us safe. And now,
if you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
we don't trust them to deal with immigration. Now we want mass deportation.
Yeah, so there were Venezuelan gangs. They were among the first rounded up in Denver. Now everybody admits that there were gangs, and they did take over apartment buildings. They never took over a city, and nobody other than I guess Trump might have said they took over the city, but that was outrageous and ridiculous. No one serious said that. So, but when you chose to fight on those grounds, you did great damage to our cause. Now mass deportation is more popular because people think that it might, we might be talking about those criminals. And so if we were recent, and by the way, and then everybody always changes the goalposts. So now I see people saying, oh, no one thought.
No one denied that there were Venezuelan gang members. No one denied that they were there.
No one denied that they took over apartments, at least.
That's exactly what they said.
That's
exactly what they said.
And no one denied that they should be deported. That's not true. People are denying it right now, right? Let alone earlier.
It's insane.
So, guys, we've got to win them back.
Your party sucks, Cenk. I hope you don't win them back with the Democrat Party in its current state. I remember J.D. Vance was on an interview with someone on CNN or MSNBC, like a Dana Bash type, but I don't think it was her. And he was explaining that Venezuelan gangs are taking over apartment buildings. And she wanted to argue as to the number of apartment buildings that they'd taken over. And I think it was a relatively viral moment. He said back to her, what's the right number of apartment complexes that should be taken over before we do something? Obviously, that interviewer was part of the liberal mainstream media because she echoes the same sentiment the Democrat Party does. Her first thought wasn't, hey, how do we keep the people safe in those cities where that's happening? It was to do everything she could to refute J.D. Vance. And Ana and Cenk are right that if now people are saying, we always said they should be deported, what do you mean? You knew it was happening, and the Biden administration did nothing. There's a direct correlation between that, going from 36% in favor of mass deportations to 56 or 64%, with the Democrats failing to enforce the law. And now they need to face the consequences. They are going to lose voters. As a matter of fact, I don't know how anyone could be on the side of this argument that says, how dare you take these people out of the country? These are murderers, sex offenders, violent criminals. If you're on the other side of the argument, you're doing it because you don't want anything Donald Trump does to look like a good thing, or you're just pure evil and you don't care about the people of this country. Either way, it's real bad. But we want to hear from you. What do you think about Trump's mass deportations? What do you think about the first round and how they're doing? And what do you think about Ana and Cenk's commentary on this? Let us know. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.